Scared money. I'll give you a story about scared money. I was in Fresno in 1965, 4, and 3, trying to go to college part-time here and play ball. And I ran around. I worked at a pizza place at Blackstone and Abbey, Shakey's. You guys remember that a long time ago? And they closed it down because the people got beat up there a lot, and they hired me to try to keep that down, sell more pizza and beer and less people getting whipped. And after work, we'd go over to a guy's place and play poker. We'd roll craps after work until everybody got there, and then we started gambling. And I'd always bring 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks with me. And in a half an hour, I was always in the kitchen drinking beer and bringing the guys who were left in the game beers. I lasted an hour one night. And I just couldn't figure it out because I always felt that I had bad cards. And I said, boy, I'm unlucky. And finally a guy, after about 10 times taking my money, says, come over here. He said, you don't gamble anymore. And I said, well, I like it. It's fun. He said, well, why don't you just just give us your money when you walk in. Just give it to us, and you won't be, then go in the other room and get our spares. I said, no, I want to gamble. He says, you're never going to win. And I said, why not? He says, because you are always betting scared money. He says, you come in afraid to bet the right hands, afraid to stay in hands and take another card when you can turn it around. You're always counting your chips. You're scared, and you shouldn't be playing with us because scared money never wins. Well, I still did it, and I still contributed, and then I get brave on a hand and then lose all my money in about 10 minutes, 5 minutes. But there's ingredients here that mean something to you. First of all, I'm only moving slowly because of what I did here last night. I spent the afternoon with Snipes, and then the rest of the time with my Uncle Sam. I feel very old. Scared money. First of all, you have to start off with a concept that you will win. Automatically win. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, then any amount of money you're going to put in on the gambling table is going to be scared money, and you'll pull it out, and then you'll lose it. Because in business or in gambling, you can't win betting scared money, and here are the facts, and it's affecting 2 of you sitting in this room, and I don't even know who it is 2 out of 10 people are freaked out and won't even put up scared money. 2 will, they'll bet it, and they're not particularly scared. There are 6 people in the middle, and it's split right down the middle. There are 3 who want to go this way, and 3 who are scared and know they're going to end up here. And they're just surviving. So what does that mean in insurance or any kind of sales or business? You've got 2 people out of 10 who are real players, and you know who you are, and then you got 2 out of those 10 who know you're here to lose, and just looking at your watch, you're still looking for another opportunity. There's 3, and that's 6, who are in that bottom division, and they're scared. The bottom 2 are mad and broke, and then there's 3 who don't know what they are, and today we're going to talk to 3. The top people know their tops, the bottom people know their bottoms, and there's 6 in the middle, and 3 don't believe anything I'm going to say. 3 just might, and I hope there's somebody in this room that today will say, this is a business. I'm not a rep or a salesman for farmers. I'm not going to come in cheap and scared and put down a nickel and then say, I told you so. See, I told you it wouldn't work. My father, who's having his problems right now, took some of the programs that I put in Merced, but they didn't work. He didn't want to spend that kind of money because he wasn't sure. Now, if anybody, including the things that I do, the games, will go ahead if you'll guarantee them that they'll be making $100,000 a year in 2 years and put it in writing and say on this date you're going to be making $8,000. Everybody will bet that money. It's no longer scared money. It's just an investment. The problem is in the heart, and the people in my district who make $2, $3, $4, 500,000 a year have courage. They have pride. Pride is the personal reason I do excel. I made that up for my daughter. Why do I do the things that I do is because of my pride. That's the personal reason, a private reason, the primary reason I do excel, and I know something is a reality. It takes money to make money in America. It takes work, and it takes ability. Now, as we're going through this process, and this is what we do with people, this is a bit of a brainwashing thing, I want to quantify before I bring somebody into classes like this, are they a real player or am I wasting their time and my time? I want to know as a coach. Is it a kid who's on a football field because his dad wants him out there because he never played or did? Or does he really want to play the game? Do you have A, ability? Let's stop there. Can you sell? Can you persuade? Can you close? Are you a strong person? Can you manage people? Are you persuasive? Do you believe in yourself? That all comes in the ability area. It's not just can you talk fast and do you know the coverages. Can you handle frustration? Can you handle the bad days? Do the bad days turn you into a slump player? Here's a philosophy. A long time ago I noticed when I played sports, if my brother Jim got off ahead of me, he would be just steamrolling me and I'd be mad, and then he'd beat me more. And we'd be playing tennis and I'd watch Jim have a bad shot. And then he'd take a bad shot, he'd follow it with a bad shot because he was mad, and then he'd start looking at his racket and cussing, talking about he had the flu and some stuff like that. And so I realized one thing about my brother, he's a great competitor. Jim would get mad at himself and he wouldn't wall off the bad play. And so I got to a point where I hit a bad shot and I go, oh, I'm mad. And I do it. Oh, wait, stop. If I stay mad, I'll have another bad shot because I've already done that. And then I'll have a bad game, a bad set, bad day. I'll have to beat Jim up. See, if Jim beat me, I'd beat him. And he didn't like, for years, he resented just getting wet because he was playing well. And after a while, I decided that was good for him. Then he wouldn't play as well because there wasn't a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow he wanted. But it's in sports, in games, in business, and in life, you have to be able to wall off the bad shot, to isolate it and call it a fluke and move on. If you have a bad day in insurance and you lose a client, farmer screws up a file, Snipes gives you a whole bunch of stuff that rah-rah that you do not need, talking about life or whatever. You're mad and you go home, and that's okay for a day. It is okay every 6 months to have a bad day. Write that down. Every 6 months, allow yourself a bad day. But don't turn it into a bad career. Wall it off and wake up the next day and say, hell with it. That was yesterday. That was a fluke. Yes, it was a bad day. Yes, I was mad. I got juiced up. That's what I did last night. I had a bad day at the hospital. But today we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful day. It's going to be a pretty good week now. Because yesterday is dead and buried. The future might never come. And all I want to do with my ability is work on today's. I want good today's. Donnie and myself and all these other guys, we have to have these 5-year plans and 10 years, and Farmers has all these long-term objectives. I'm only working on having good today's, because I only can count on today. It's the only thing I truly can experience. The past is history. It's memories, and hopefully good ones. The future is BS. But if I have a lot of good todays, and I have the ability, and I am willing to bet my hand, will you bet your hand? Do you have a good hand? Is it going to be scared money? Is it going to be the thing where if it doesn't work for, like, in the next hour, you're going to quit it? For instance, on office help. You say, go get some people. Practice remote control, which I'll show you on the board in a minute. First thing you have to do is say, if I had these things with my ability, and my ability to work and do what I can do, Will it have a yield? Now, if you say no, don't do it at all. Don't bet scared money, bet no money. And then do one other thing. Get into a field that will nourish you. Because if you don't believe that you're going to be the best guy or gal to write insurance for that family, for that business, the best in the world, you should get the hell out of this business. If you don't believe that with the product you have and the backing you have, starts right here on the powertrain, that when you walk in the door and look in somebody's eyes and tell them, I'm going to take better care of you because of the way my agency works and the way I care than anybody else in town will. And I'll prove it to you over the next 20 years. And if you can't say that, get out. Because you have nothing to sell. Because Farmers isn't going to make you. Farmers is a good, solid company. You got a great contract, better than your district manager or mine, which we have the same contract, don't we? Mm-hmm. It's the best one available at the time.
We got the best.
But you have to go in and say, I have the ability, I know the coverages, I'll fight for my clients, I'll keep their policy upgraded, I'll make sure if the kid comes in and has a ticket, I'm not going to see them getting canceled just on general principles because this is a fort, and you're in that fort. Now, Rick Morrow said something once, a very famous agent, good friend in Texas. He said something once that I thought was profound and explains this. Guy says, well, why should I have my insurance with you? Rick says, well, there's one good reason. He said, well, how is my policy different than your policy? He says, your policy is very similar in some ways, but there's one big difference. On that deck sheet, look to the bottom. He says, is my signature on that? He says, no, my other agent is. He says, that's the difference. You don't have my signature right there, Bill.
Pretty strong, huh?
In Merced, when Don and I started, my agency outwrote the other 11 agencies in town combined because of a commitment, a pride. I knew that we were the only game in town. When we got Snipes out of town, kicked him down to Madeira. So he was some competition. We had to get rid of him first. So we set up a little deal there. Donnie went to Madeira with the same attitude, knowing that. Wrote as much as 4, 5, 6 agents. And that's just the only reason he didn't do 10 times as much. We fished a lot. And there's a key here. Before you make it in this business, you got to walk up to the mirror and say, you're a dude. First of all, you're the best person to take care of people because you give a damn about them. And you'll always have an office staff there that has this. Availability. Now, if you don't have an office that is open 9 to 5, and Don and I are open 9 to 6, 6 days a week, and at least 10 to 3 on Saturday, you ain't there. Doesn't matter how good you are. Hey, I'm real good, but if you can catch me, you find me, I'm a hell of an agent for you, baby. No. You have to have availability. Saturday is like 2 days during the week because that's when you can get a hold of people. You go fishing and have your secretary, who's ever there, calling people and setting up your schedule for the next week. You can call your clients and review their policy, and you make life appointments. I sold $1 million a month on Saturdays. $250,000 every Saturday.
$25,000 policies, by the way.
A lot of them. That was the old-fashioned way. Saturdays, available. You tell people, God dang, I'm going to be here all the time, or my staff will. And not answering services or tapes. Live. Cut. How many of you raise your hand right now are closed on lunch hours? Raise your hand real quick. Let's talk. Somebody is. Who's closed on lunch hours? All right, I knew you were, because it's just where you had that guilty look. You know something, when you're closed, all the people in Fresno are on lunch break, and that's when they call to get quotes. That's the only time during the day. So you go anywhere you want, but you make sure you have somebody answering the phone that works for you to accommodate those calls. Now you don't know what you're missing because you're not there, true? Right. It's lost. But you never close your office when the other people are available, because that's when they make their insurance call.
I will close between 11 and 12.
Don't ever close. You open up at 9 in the morning, you close at 5, then you go home. Don't close a sales office ever down. It costs you a fortune. Not just a new business. You're talking about the renewals in a 5-year period. Now, would you close down that hour if I told you in 5 years on a crystal ball that you would lose $28,000 to $40,000 a year income?
Absolutely not.
That's what it's going to cost you. You don't know it until you get to the other end, and then you don't even know it then because you never had the money. You never had it in your hands, but it's still lost. Top agencies have a master plan. They're going to bet their ability. They know what the cards are. It's just like the dealer deals them this way, face up. He deals your cards face up, and he deals his cards face up, both of them. And then he says, bet. How would you like to play blackjack that way? He has a 19, has to stick, you got a 20. And he says, bet up to $1,000. Let's say you only had 600 with you. What would you do? Go find 400 more? Because you have an automatic winner? Well, that isn't how I gamble normally, but, because they won't let you do that. There's a chance. So I lose money. I bet scared money when I gamble if it gets to the black chips, $100 chips. I'm scared because I don't have control. Here we do. You're betting a controlled winning hand, and you just got to find the money. And then you got to make the commitment. Time, energy, ability, and betting your hand. Now, let me just erase this for a second, because I'm going to talk about something that you can do specifically. Got this noisy blackboard. Now, something called remote control. I have as many as 8 or 9 people who were, I don't know, attending bars, a couple of them were mowing lawns, a guy was working in a liquor store, another guy was a barber. And I looked at their operations recently, and I thought, why are these guys, all these guys are making $25,000 to $50,000 a month.
That's a month, folks.
Young people, you sitting in here, they come in with, like me, kind of this, they dress up like this, got mustard on their shirt, kind of a vacant look in their eyes, some of them. Why are they making so much money? Is it the area? Or in their same office or across the way, there's somebody they're making 25, the guy's making 2,500. And you pick, in my district, some of the guys were making 2,500 or to 4 or 5 or 6. Average income in our district is about now 17 to 19,000 a month. That's the average income in the district of 30.
Ours is 6.
Not all area. It's the fact that these people are doing something and have the courage of numbers. It's a commune. And it helps if you have friends doing it. Let's face it, because none of it. I stand up here and say, well, don't you have courage, you chicken? No, I understand, because I'm that way in other areas. We all have our own little areas of maybe lacking fortitude. We're human. But it's sad to do it in business because it disrupts and destroys the integrity of your life, because there's a social, economic caste system in America, and they need your money to do things, and the 4 dirtiest words that fit together in the English language for a prideful person. Your little boy needs an operation, Mr. Zentner. It's going to cost, over your insurance, $14,000. But this will help him. Doctor, I can't afford it. That's demeaning. That is a sad thing that a lot of people can't do for their families and friends and themselves, the things that they need, because they don't have money. And our business does supply you with a lot of cash if you do it right. Don and I have really enjoyed meeting a lot of people whose attitudes have changed and the things they can do. They become more humble people. They have a lot of money. They have the time to enjoy it. And this business gives you a lot of income and the time to enjoy it. Some people make a lot of money, but they work 75 hours a week. Jesus, you really stack it up then. You don't have enough time to go out and spend it. It's probably good for your discipline. I can't afford it. Well, I hate those, so I'm not going to use those words. You might have to if you don't do what we're talking about right now. Remote control. Here's you. I'm going to build you a farmer's agency right now. This is the skeleton that you put the muscle on. Please draw your own, but here's you. You own the place. Chairman of the board, CEO, founder of that agency is you, not Donald K. Snipes and not Farmers Insurance Group. First thing that you need is a person who we will call a secretary. Put office manager, that type of mentality. Somebody who will have somebody working for her, a secretary, and then somebody later will come in if you do this, called a part-time secretary. This is official. The master agency, the agency of the future, that's running well, will not do one thing to the winner. Hold you hostage, because if you have one secretary and she can do all the work and you don't know how to do it, my dad had that happen, she owns you. You are a hostage, because if she quits, you're screwed. So, what do? You hire one. Get going good. And of course we have two things here we're going to draw that help you get there. But this is the powertrain that you have to have in an agency. This gal manages, she can sell when you're gone, she's closing the easy ones that you don't even do anymore, and she's freezing all the fish that she can't get to or they're too big for her to cook until you get back. How many sales are lost with an A girl here? None. She knows what to say to irate clients. And what are you supposed to do? Take care of the big problems that jump out of her corral. Take care of the big sales. Shake the hand. Be the leader. You're the owner. You're the founder. But you can walk out the door and know she can hold it down. You can be here and know business is going there. They'd write 30, 40, 50 policies while I was gone in Merced. What a feeling. Call up, they'd say, stay there. In fact, my business is run that way now. They still don't want me back in town.
Right.
For a lot of reasons. Anyway, because they don't need me there all the time, and all I do is come up with extra programs. I just make work. I'm a classic pain in the ass boss. I know you can't tell that. I seem like a reasonable, regular guy, but I'm not. Not when I run one of these things. There has to be discipline and control. We won a lot of football games because of discipline and control, and had a lot of fun. And losing is lousy in gambling or anything. In business, certainly, because it gets you down, it gets you mad, it creates reasonable doubt that you have it. You get mad at Don Snipes, you get mad at the company, and you have a poor check on top of that. And every one of us has had that feeling in this business. True? Sometimes too much.
Fairly regularly.
You bet. If it's too regularly, it's because you haven't done the things. And you have to do these things. Remember, do the things, the disciplines. You have to do the things. Here are the things. Secretary, gal to back her up, 2 full-time, 2.5. If you want a big agency, 2.5 here. You're going to go, well, it costs a lot of money. I didn't say 2.5 today. That's your goal. This gal comes in and backs these two up and comes in and part-time and cleans up all the crap so they can get to the phones and do the real work to make you money. Now, over here is my commercial marketing department. I have an account executive. That's a licensed person, that's you at first. And an ARC that feeds them the leads. Commercial. Over here, account executive, customer service representative to call your own files, and then later somebody to call for them. Monday morning, I meet with these people. Okay, Bill, give me a report on our commercial production last week. Good week, Bill. What happened here? 11 apartments, condos, okay, this and that, contractors. What do you have going for this week? Well, I'm starting slow, but I expect to write about 10 policies this week. Bill was off last week for 2 days because he was sick. Okay, then I'll say, all right, at this point, do you think we need another ARC? Do we need 2? Oh, no, he's doing it. Then I move over here. These people do this. A, call our files. Gee, Tommy and I started in the mid-'70s, and it's so important to talk to our clients and get the related business. If I go in your files right now, you're gonna go, oh boy, he's doing that a lot. Because it's so sad to see young, starving, new people, little birds in our business, right? 2 autos and leave the home and the life just laying there. These people like you, or they wouldn't have bought 1 policy. Yet I can go back to your files, never go back to LA, and make a living already in your book of business. Just the stuff you left behind, I can make a living on. Part-time. Just hang out at a local bar, hang out at the Silver Dollar, just working your files. It's a career for me. 70% of my people had all the business in Merced. So I got to be a big hero, and they let me go around different places and brag about what I was doing. And all I did was clean my plate. It was the natural, easy, lazy, self-serving thing to do. And yet you don't have them because you don't have the time. You're busy. And I look at the production sometimes and I know you're not busy, but you won't do one thing. You won't put up a few bucks, get somebody at $5 an hour plus a bonus, get them out of a job over there at McDonald's, and have them call up and say, hi, Mr. Jones, Tommy Madison, I'm calling from the Snipes Agency. We don't have some information on you. We want to make this service call just to thank you, number 1, for being with us. But we want to update your file. You go through it, boom, boom. By the way, where do you have your autos? State Farm. One of those come up now? In a month? Don't pay those bills. Mr. Jones, don't pay them until we get you a quote. We'll show you how to package them up and get your group type right. Well, okay, I'll look at that. Yeah, I've been happy with you guys. 1 call. 2 sales. Set up a life appointment. I did that. Too basic. It's so easy and so basic that our minds don't take it seriously. And then some people go out of business and leave those files behind, 400 files like that, to the next guy, and he comes in and makes $1 million round table and builds a career out of the files, just what was left behind. Forget the 500 shares commissions. That's sad because I lost a good guy. Went over there to work at the Westinghouse, night repair. Gee, that's sad. So here's what you got is you have with remote control a situation where you have departments. You hire somebody to call your files, at first part-time. You teach them what we were talking about here. You're going to make a lot of money on this person, and you won't have to be doing it. That is the art of delegation. If you want to do it all yourself, leave it to Beaver. This is, woo, good luck. It's more work than I wanted when I came in, and a lot less money. And if it's going to be more hours for you, and a lot of hard work for a lot less money, maybe you should think about this. That's why we're going to have 10 or 12 people making over $40,000 a month, just regular folks, because of this thing here. Turn it upside down. What do you have? A tree. The tributary system of management and specialization feeds the trunk, which is you, of this tree. This is an oak tree upside down. Now do your chart back at your office and see if it turns upside down what kind of a tree you have, and it'll look lousy. It'll have no limbs. We use a term there, it's not dirty, but it sounds like it could be. It's called fork it. Fork it means you split, like a tree splits, to absorb all the things in the air, and then the roots do the same thing, and that's where they get the nutrients. It's in specialization, forking tributary systems that businesses grow. Is it true? Then why do we at the farmer's insurance level, at the rep level, if that's what you want to call that, sit there, part-time secretary, make a few phone calls, get tired, get mad at underwriting, and stop marketing? Your agency should be marketing all the time. Always looking for new clients. But you got to have the people. So, some of you right now need an area rate coordinator. ARC. An ARC. Mr. Jones, John Zentner, just got the new rates on your apartment. I have some good news for you. Just want to give you the rates before you pay your... by the way, you with the Farmers Insurance Group on that, sir? Okay. Well, if you're not, I'll call you back tomorrow morning with your new rate index. Give me some information. We just about have it put together for you. That's what we do. Now, what if the person says, I'm happy where I am, I have it with an uncle? Write this one down. Well, we've just about put together a leverage quote for you. to show your agent how much you're overpaying now so he can get you with whatever company's doing your new rate index. Your new rate index. That kills. Now we don't even, hey, we just want you to know what your rate is. You take it to them, do what you want. You'll have our phone number there if we can help you. Wow, that works. How many of you have somebody calling for you right now? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you have an A person that you give an A grade calling right now? That means that you have B's, C's, and D's in there because you haven't worked trying to find the needle in the haystack. And you know where real top people are looking for a position in your operation? Everywhere. But they're not in one group. So you got to talk to a lot of people and see if they have the fire. And that's the hardest thing in the world to cope with in our business for district managers. Is we have to be recruitive, obviously, or we're out of business like that. They just get rid of us. Why aren't you recruitive? When you go out to a breakfast club and if the waiter has a lot of bounce and is great and exceptionally clean-cut, energetic person with a lot of pizzazz, give them your card and say, come by and see me when you get tired of doing this. Would you like to make some real money someday? I'm looking for a, write the title down, not a solicitor. You know what a solicitor is? A solicitor is a Hare Krishna. That's a solicitor, bald head. That's what a solicitor is. They look like that. They talk funny. Too much opium. Now, we don't hire solicitors. We hire junior marketing partners, area rate coordinators, special account managers, customer service managers. They're the ones who call the file. We don't have any chunk jobs in our businesses because people go on. Let me open this door a little bit here.
Here, I'll get it.
I'm being revisited by last night's activities.
Turn the air on.
We want that young person or that older person to think they're getting a hell of an opportunity, and you got to call it by the right name. If I was a prostitute, I would never call myself a whore or a hooker. I would have a some other title like a professional social manager. You better think I'd feel better about myself. Of course, I haven't had any opportunities to take. I haven't had anybody offer me a lot of money. Never will. Don gets hit.